Pharma Ventures, experts in deals and alliances.
안녕하십니까? 저는 프리미엄 헬스케어 부티크인 파마벤처즈에서 사업개발 디렉터로 있는 박성원입니다. 오늘 파마벤처즈 인사이트에서는 빅파마와 기술 이전 트랜잭션을 할 때 필요한 것, 알아둘 점에 대해서 이야기를 나눠볼 텐데요. 요즘 한국 제약 산업에서는 신약 개발이 새로운 샛별로 떠올랐는데 이는 매뉴팩처링과 제네릭을 기반으로 형성되었던 국내 제약 산업에 더 높은 가치와 선진적인 일자리를 창출하고 경제를 키우는데 크게 기여할 것으로 생각되기 때문입니다. 요즘 제약 산업에서는 딜, 트랜잭션, 기술 이전과 같은 컨셉 없이는 신약 개발에 대해서 이야기하기 힘들죠. 지난 26년간 세계적인 거래를 성사시켜온 기업으로서 이 기회에 기술 이전에 대한 파마벤처즈의 이해와 지식을 공유하면 좋을 것 같다는 생각이 들었습니다. 물론 한국에도 해외, 특히 제약 산업이 밀집해 있는 북미나 유럽에서 오랫동안 경험을 쌓으신 베테랑들이 많은데요. 함께 지식이나 경험을 공유해 주시면 좋겠네요. 자, 그럼 제약사와 바이오벤처는 처음부터 왜 인수합병 그리고 기술 이전 거래를 하는 걸까요? 아마 작년에 한국 제약사의 연구개발비에 대해서 많이 들으셨을 거예요. 세계에서 가장 먼저 승인을 받은 항체 베이스 바이오시밀러를 개발하기로 유명한 셀트리온은 작년 한 해 동안 2,270억 원을 사용했고요. 한미약품은 1,706억 원을 연구개발비로 지출했습니다. 이 숫자들이야말로 정말 헉소리 나는 제약개발비의 실체를 보여주는 좋은 보기가 아닐까 싶은데요. 현실이 이렇다 보니 정말 많은 바이오 벤처들이 좋은 기술, 아이디어는 많지만 이런 스케일의 개발을 하기에는 무리가 있습니다. 또 한편으로는 빅파마와 같은 큰 회사가 있는데 시장 내에서 워낙 경쟁이 심하다 보니 서로보다 먼저 넥스트 블록버스터 제품을 찾기 위해 엄청난 바이어 경쟁을 하죠. 이들은 제품을 상업화할 수 있는 능력도 되고 이미 세계 모든 곳에 마케팅 인프라가 잘 갖춰졌다고 해도 과언이 아닙니다. 이런 식으로 제약 산업에서는 아주 분명한 서플라이와 디마ンド 생태계가 생기게 됩니다. 작은 바이오 벤처의 좋은 아이디어가 기술 이전이라는 거래를 통해서 큰 기업들이 장악하고 있는 시장으로 나오게 되는 거죠. 그럼 도대체 누구와 거래를 하고 돈은 얼마나 왔다 갔다 하는 걸까요? 빅파마는 어떤 제품들을 선호하고 한국 제약사나 다른 바이오 벤처는 다른 나라와 어떻게 비교될까요? 이런 질문들에 대한 답변을 주시기 위해서 오늘은 제약 산업에서 약 30년 동안 연구개발, 사업개발, 그리고 여러 트랜잭션을 이끌어오신 파마벤처즈의 매니징 디렉터 에이드리언 독스님과 이야기를 나눠보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
So Adrian, when you're doing a deal, a licensing deal, what's the most important thing that you need to think about?
Right, well there are a number of important elements to doing a deal, but I guess one of the most important and a thing that people should look at very early on in the process is actually understanding what your asset or your company, and in the case of a licensing deal, what the IP and the asset is actually worth. What's the value?
가치는 어떻게 평가하는 건가요?
At Pharma Ventures, we've been doing valuations for over 25 years now and do that for major pharmaceutical companies and governments and all over the world. And there are several methodologies, and some are more appropriate than other. In the most basic form, you're looking at things like discounted cash flows and comparables, and we rely on those quite heavily, but we have other methodologies, decision tree analysis and other methodologies that we can employ should it be necessary.
우리가 우리 자산에 대해서 가치 평가를 하면 아마 반대편에서도 그쪽이 생각하는 우리 자산의 가치를 평가해 올 거란 말이에요. 그러면 그 두 개가 굉장히 다를 수 있거든요. 아마 그쪽은 더 낮다고 생각하겠죠. 우리가 했던 가치 평가보다. 그럴 때는 반대편이 우리에게 뭐라고 할지 미리 준비를 해 놓을 수 있나요?
Of course, and that's what you aim to do. You want to put yourselves in the shoes of the other side and understand how they would think. But then also at the same time, you want to generate defensible arguments as to why you believe your asset is worth what you say it is. And that can be done with precedent deals. It can be done with forward-looking measurements of the sort of sales you think you might achieve with your drug once it reaches the market, and the costs, and then how much of the market you might actually acquire. And that comes down to the performance of the drug. And also, another important factor is how much you can price your drug at. A lot of people take a decision early on and think, well, I'll just take my asset out to the market and the market will tell me what it's worth. The market won't tell you that. The market will tell you what they're prepared to pay for it, which, as you said earlier, is probably a lower number than you want to get. So it's very important that early on in the process, you do a thorough job of understanding the value of what it is you're trying to trade.
기술 이전 프로세스를 봤을 때 이게 어떻게 보면 굉장히 심플한 스텝 1, 2, 3일 수도 있거든요. 하지만 또 다른 면에서 보면 굉장히 복잡한 면도 있고, 그래서 한국 기업들이 뭐 제약사나 바이오벤처가 처음으로 북미나 유럽에 있는 빅파마와 딜을 할 때 가장 중요하게 생각해야 되는 점, 가장 먼저 해야 될 일은 어떤 걸까요?
Right, well, we've talked a bit about valuation. So before you go out to market, get the value established. And then, of course, you need to know who you're going to engage with, depending on which sector you might be in. And you can draw up a list of companies and then find some people's names. But ultimately, at the end of the day, deals are done by people, and they're done by people interacting with people. So the thing that you need to do to establish there is you've got to have a network. You've got to have people you can call up and talk to or visit and speak to and establish a relationship. It's relationship driven. So it's vitally important that you either have a network or you find a way to tap into an established network of the sort of companies that you want to do a deal with.
그럼 한국 제약사나 바이오벤처가 바이오에, 예를 들어서 바이오에 간다고 했을 때 파이저를 찾아봤는데 파이저에서 50명이 왔다. 뭐 사업개발팀에서 왔을 수도 있고 Corporate Development 그리고 R&D에서 왔을 수도 있는데 누구랑 얘기를 해야 되나요? 아니면 그 모든 사람들과 얘기를 하는 게 좋을까요?
Well, that's actually a great question, and you see a lot of companies go to meetings like Bio, and they're excellent meetings. They're a really good place to actually get in front of people and introduce yourself. But it's exactly that. That's all you're doing. You're introducing yourself. And the other thing to remember about those kind of events is companies tend to go with a shopping list. They send people to them who are looking for assets and companies that fit with the strategy that they've devised. So if the thing that you have and you wish to trade isn't on their shopping list, they'll have a nice meeting with you, but you probably won't get much further than that. So you need to be engaging at multiple levels, and that you still need to involve the BD guys and the BD ladies that are there, but you also need to think about how do I get to the R&D people, because they're going to get shown your asset and they're going to have a view of is this science good behind it. Then you need to also be engaging with the corporate folks as well, who if they buy into it, then you've got things coming at it from three ways, and you're really enhancing your chances of getting a deal done. It's still got to be a great asset and still got to fit with their strategy at some point, but if you just rely on going to meetings and talking to one person, you're really not doing your science and your asset justice.
파마벤처에서 클라이언트와 이제 인게이지를 할 때 보통 많은 클라이언트들이 지금까지 우리 빅파마랑 얘기 많이 해봤어요. 근데 아무도 CDA를 사인 안 하려고 합니다. 하시는 분들이 꽤 있거든요. 그래서 막상 파마벤처가 일을 시작해서 티저를 만들고 나면 CDA가 꽤 들어오는 경우도 있고요. 사실 우리가 CDA를 할 때는 뭐 굉장히 중요한 점은 하이라이트 시키고 어려운 질문이 나올 것 같은 점은 좀 톤 다운 시키는, 물론 투명한 선에서 톤 다운 시키는 그런 팁 같은 게 있는데 전체적인 기술 이전 프로세스를 봤을 때 줄 수 있는 팁이 있으시면 공유해 주실 수 있으면 좋을 것 같아요.
Sure. This is all about storytelling and commitment. And so you mentioned teaser documents there, and we produce teasers which are high impact. They've got diagrams and they've got photos and they're nicely laid out. So they're not just a sheet of A4 type paper, which farmers see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these. So you need to differentiate. So that's one thing. Look different, highlight the key points. That only gets people so far. And what you've got to remember here is the person that you're delivering that to, you're equipping them with the capability to take it internally and tell your story internally to their peers and their superiors. And they've got to buy in. So your job is to equip them with the best information that you can. That's going to make them more likely to sign a CDA. There's a difference here, I think, between East and West, if you like. CDAs are much more readily signed in the West, and they don't represent that much level of commitment. Whereas in the East, I think it tends to be seen as a far greater level of commitment, so that it's harder to get them signed. But if you get them to that point, that's the trigger for more disclosures. So we when we're working with companies, a lot of them think that actually disclosing more information sooner is better, and sometimes that's just information overload, and the recipient can't take it internally and represent it properly. There's just too much. And actually, a lot of very, very senior executives don't have time. They want to know, is this good or is this bad? Should I do something or should I not? So A, you need to distill, and B, release information in the right order at the right time. That's very important to get commitment and work with the counterparts in there to give them the information they need at the right time to enable others to buy into the story. That way you'll get much more traction and much more buy-in with these people.
그 다음에 중요한 점은 아마 협상일 텐데요. 한국 기업들 중에도 미국이나 유럽 쪽에서 많이 일을 하고 오신 제약 베테랑 분들이 많으세요. 하지만 그런 분들이 없는 회사들은 협상을 할 때 그런 언어가 장벽이 될 수 있나요?
Right. Again, that's a good point, and it can be because this is all about understanding on both sides, and again, the relationship thing. So whilst you might strike up a great rapport with the other side, if there is a need for translation, then you would really serve yourself best to have somebody with you that understands both the Western elements and the Western cultural ways of doing things and the language and can translate from Korean back and forth so that there are no misunderstandings and actually expectations are aligned, and that's a key one too, because things get lost in translation and one side can think, oh, we're way ahead of this and the deal's really going ahead and we're a done deal, and the other side are thinking we're only at the point of where I'm interested. So, and then that causes friction later on and can actually get in the way of getting a deal done in a timely and efficient manner and to everybody's satisfaction.
물론 한국어, 영어도 중요하지만 제약 산업만의 언어가 있잖아요. 그래서 그런 제약 산업의 언어를 이해하고 잘 전달할 수 있는 사람이 있다는 것도 중요하겠네요.
And again, that's not a recipe for disaster, but the potential risks are there. And actually, so as we say, what we do at Pharma Ventures is we translate the technical into value. And deals are all about value and the technical capability that comes with it and delivers that value. So unless you're versed in, as you say, the language of pharma and the language of science, you're not representing your asset to its full potential, and B, there's a danger that you'll damage the deal. So absolutely, you need both elements of translation, not just the language, but also the commercial technical.
지금까지 거래 협상 테이블에 굉장히 많이 앉아보셨잖아요. 그런 경험을 통해서 얻으신 교훈이나 중요한 점이 있다면 알려주세요.
Well, again, it's all about the rapport, the interaction between people, and deals are about compromise. Again, people tend to forget this. Some people think it's about winning and getting something across on the other side or doing better than them. The best deals are those where both sides has a position, but hopefully through the process you've come sufficiently close together that the deal can be done. In those negotiations, there will always be elements of disagreement, discussion, and that process is all about discovering where the boundaries are for both sides and what it's possible to do to not go beyond those boundaries, but to still deliver the component parts of the deal that are most important to each side. And that's one of the tricks, actually, is identifying those key components where one side is that's a red line for them. If we go across that's going to kill the deal. So knowing when to stop and when to push and when to give and when to get. All very important elements.
한국 기업과 지금까지 일을 많이 하셨고 지금도 제약사와 바이오벤처 여러분들과 일을 하고 계신데 외국인의 퍼스펙티브에서 봤을 때 외국인이 보기에 한국 제약 산업은 어떤가요?
You know, I think it's although deals have been done, I think there is a pervading view that Korea is predominantly companies like Samsung and Celltrion, who you mentioned, and it's biosimilars, and that's the sort of industry. And I don't think Western companies have really properly yet engaged with Korean innovative biotechs and pharma who are coming up with some great technology. So I think the perception isn't absolutely clear yet, and it isn't correct. So I think it's kind of a hidden gem, if you like. There's from our trips there, and both you and I were there. We've seen some truly innovative companies in Korea doing some great work in all the areas that currently matter to Western pharma. They're very busy in immuno-oncology. They've got some great things going on there in cardiovascular, in CNS, all the areas you would want to find new assets, and new capabilities. So I think finding a way to engage with them and have people that know what's going on in Korea. If you're a Western company, you need to be engaging with the people. And if you're a Korean company, finding those people that can get you in front of the Western farmer to articulate these great things is a key element towards getting some deals done.
Adrian, 오늘 이렇게 좋은 말씀 나눠주셔서 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
오늘 들으신 것처럼 기술 이전 트랜잭션을 할 때는 상대가 수용할 만한 제품의 가치를 잘 이해하고 효율적인 거래 성사를 위한 전략을 수립하는 것이 매우 중요합니다. 이때부터는 어느 정도 정해진 프로세스를 따르는 시긴 하지만 거래는 어디까지나 50% 과학, 50% 예술이라고 할 수 있죠. 그렇기 때문에 풍부한 경험과 네트워크가 있으면 충분히 기술 이전의 효과 그리고 효율성을 증진시키고 가속화시킬 수 있습니다. 파마벤처스의 서비스와 한국 그리고 세계적인 액티비티가 궁금하시다면 하단의 링크를 확인하세요.
Pharma Ventures, experts in deals and alliances.